Climate funding gap. This editorial addresses Pakistan's struggle to secure adequate climate finance. Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif's recent appeal for climate finance at the World Government Summit in the UAE underscores a critical challenge Pakistan faces, bridging the enormous gap between climate funding needs and available resources. Appeal for climate finance means a formal request for funds to address climate-related challenges. Underscores means highlights or emphasizes. Critical challenge refers to a serious and urgent problem. Bridging the enormous gap means reducing the significant difference. Climate funding needs refers to the financial requirements for climate-related initiatives. Available resources means the funds currently accessible. The unfortunate reality is that Pakistan requires $4050 billion annually for climate adaptation and mitigation, yet receives merely $1.52 billion from international sources. Climate adaptation means efforts to adjust to climate change impacts. Mitigation refers to measures to reduce climate change effects. Receives merely means gets only a small amount. This disparity demands urgent attention, particularly given Pakistan's position as one of the world's most climate-vulnerable nations, despite minimal contribution to global emissions. Disparity means a large difference. Demands urgent attention means requires immediate focus. Climate-vulnerable nations refers to countries highly exposed to climate risks. Minimal contribution to global emissions means Pakistan produces very little greenhouse gas pollution compared to larger economies. The floods of 2022 serve as a haunting reminder of our vulnerability, having submerged a third of the country, affected 33 million people, and caused $30 billion in economic losses. Haunting reminder means a painful memory that continues to impact decisions. Submerged a third of the country means flooded a significant portion of Pakistan. Economic losses means financial damage caused by the disaster. With Pakistan projected to lose over 6% of its GDP annually to climate-related damages, the need for substantial climate finance cannot be overstated. Projected to lose means expected to suffer losses. GDP refers to the total economic output of a country. Climate-related damages means destruction caused by climate change. Cannot be overstated means is extremely important. The Pakistan's energy transition alone requires $100 billion in investment, highlights the extent of the challenge. Energy transition refers to shifting from fossil fuels to renewable energy. Highlights the extent of the challenge means shows how big the problem is. However, the international climate finance architecture remains flawed. Climate finance architecture refers to the global system for funding climate projects. Remains flawed means continues to have problems. Our limited access to the Green Climate Fund, securing only $250 million, compared to India's $782 million and Bangladesh's $441 million, reflects systemic barriers that climate-vulnerable nations face. Limited access means restricted ability to obtain resources. Green Climate Fund is a global fund supporting climate projects. Systemic barriers means deep-rooted obstacles in the system. Complex approval processes, stringent credit ratings, and high borrowing costs continue to direct climate finance towards lower-risk projects in developed economies rather than where it is most urgently needed. Complex approval processes means difficult and time-consuming procedures. Stringent credit ratings means strict financial evaluations. High borrowing costs means expensive loans. Lower-risk projects refers to safer investments, usually in richer nations. Most urgently needed means where it is required the most. The way forward requires action on both international and domestic fronts. The way forward means the solution. International and domestic fronts means both globally and within Pakistan. Globally, multilateral institutions must reform their frameworks to ensure equitable access to climate finance for vulnerable nations. Multilateral institutions means global organizations like the UN and World Bank. Reform their frameworks means change their policies. Equitable access means fair and just availability. The Loss and Damage Fund, while promising, needs streamlined mechanisms for accessibility. Loss and Damage Fund refers to a global fund for countries affected by climate change. Promising means showing potential. Streamlined mechanisms means simplified processes. Global bodies must recognize that climate finance is not charity, but a matter of climate justice. Global bodies means international organizations. Climate finance is not charity, means funding should be seen as a responsibility, not a donation. Climate justice refers to fairness in addressing climate impacts. At home, Pakistan must boost its institutional capacity to develop bankable climate projects. Boost its institutional capacity means strengthen its ability to implement policies. Bankable climate projects means financially viable environmental initiatives. Our commitment to producing 60 PC clean energy by 2030 and converting 30 PC of vehicles to electric needs to be backed by action plans that can attract both public and private investment. Commitment means promise or goal. Clean energy refers to renewable energy sources. Backed by action plans means supported by concrete strategies. Public and private investment means funding from both government and businesses. Creating an enabling regulatory environment through targeted incentives, mandatory climate risk disclosures, and public-private partnerships is essential. Enabling regulatory environment means favorable government policies. Targeted incentives mean specific benefits to encourage action. Mandatory climate risk disclosures means requiring businesses to report climate-related risks. Public-private partnerships refers to collaborations between government and businesses. Pakistan must also prioritize financial innovation, exploring blended finance models, green bonds, and parametric insurance schemes. Prioritize financial innovation means focus on new funding methods. Blended finance models means combining public and private investments. Green bonds are loans for environmental projects. Parametric insurance schemes provide payouts based on specific climate events rather than damage assessments. Developing a specialized expertise in climate finance and technology while fostering coordination between federal and provincial levels will be crucial for effective fund utilization. Specialized expertise means advanced knowledge in a specific field. Fostering coordination means improving collaboration. Effective fund utilization means ensuring funds are used efficiently. The international community must match its pledges with action, while Pakistan needs to demonstrate its readiness to manage climate finance effectively. Match its pledges with action means fulfill commitments. Demonstrate its readiness means show preparedness. Manage climate finance effectively means use funds responsibly. Published in Dawn, February 17, 2025.